All right. Hello, everyone. So today we're going to talk about the notes that we took on Friday, August 27th. And these were all about how to solve inequalities. Okay, so just know at any time if I'm going too fast or if you need to pause to write everything down, do that because it's a video. Okay, so we did these on page 13 in our interactive notebook. All right, so solving inequalities is just like solving equations. When I say just like solving equations, it's almost exactly the same. There's only one small difference, okay? So here I wrote out the steps on how to solve just one more time, just so that we all have it, and I kind of changed a little bit of the wording here. So first step one, is going to be distribute, and that's only if you need to. Not every problem is going to need to be distributed. The only time you need to do that is if you see a set of parentheses. If there's a number on the outside, you're going to have to multiply it by everything on the inside. But not every problem has that, like I said. If it doesn't, then you're just going to move on to step two. That's going to be combining like terms, or, this is where I changed the wording, you're going to gather variables to one side. So, for example, if we had something that was like that's too big. If we had something that was like 2x equals 4x, like plus 3, something like that, we would need to move one of our x's over to the other side so that we could have just x's on one side. So I would do here, I would just subtract 4x from both sides, then say 2x minus 4x, well that's negative 2x equals the 3 still. Just so that now you'd have x's on one side. That's what I'm talking about in this situation. Okay, so after you do that, or if you need to do that, because you don't always have to, you're going to just start solving. You're going to solve or start canceling is what we also said. So you're going to start doing those opposite operations. You're trying to get x by itself, trying to get it alone on that one side. So, as I said down here, your goal is still to get the variable by itself. That is still our main goal. That is what we want to do every time we solve. We want to get a variable on its own. All right. So, like I said, same process. There is a small difference, and you'll see that in both of the examples that we will do today. All right, so let's start with the first one over here. Okay, we have 5x minus 10 is less than 10. So remember, our inequalities are going to be those inequality signs. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. We just aren't going to see a regular equal to sign here. But our less than, this guy right here, is still going to act that same way. So usually when we have our two sides, we're going to split it where the equal sign is. This time we're going to split it where the less than sign is. Okay, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to start solving. So I'm looking at this side over here. I want to get x by itself. So I'm just going to start doing that. When you solve, you want to do the number that's being added or subtracted first. I see 10 is being subtracted. So I'm going to do the opposite operation, and I'm going to add 10 to both sides. Because whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. All right, so when we do that, minus 10 plus 10 is 0. All right, so that's going to leave me with negative 5x over here. Still have our less than sign. And then 10 plus 10 is going to be 20. All right, cool. So then I still want to get x alone, but I have this negative 5 in my way. Remember, this says negative 5 times x. That's what this means. Negative 5 times x. So that's multiplication. I'm going to do the opposite to get rid of it. That's going to be division. So I'm going to divide by negative 5. Okay. Here's where the difference happens. Now I'm going to scroll down just a little bit so you can see my little note at the bottom here. This is very important. That's why it's in a box and it's got all these things around it. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, flip the inequality. This is a big deal. This will change your answer. This will change your graph. So be careful. I already messed it up in class once, so I just want you to be careful too. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the inequality. So, let's take a look. Here, we're dividing by a negative 5. Since it's negative, when we follow through, we are going to need to flip the sign. So instead of less than, it's going to be greater than. Okay. Small difference, but it kind of changes things. So now we got 20 divided by negative 5, that's going to be negative 4. All right, and that is going to be our answer. X is greater than negative 4. All right, so last thing we need on this is going to be our number line that we were practicing the other day. Okay, so I'm going to start with negative 4. I need to show one side is smaller, so I'm going to go with negative 5 over here. And then I need to show the other side is going to be bigger, so we got a bigger number over here. We need a circle. I am doing an open circle, a circle that is not filled in because of the sign here. It doesn't have that or equal to line beneath it, so that's going to tell me that I need an open circle down here. All right. This sign is also going to tell us what direction we're going in. Since it is pointing towards the right, I am going to fill in the right side and show that that is the direction of our solutions. All right. Now I'm done. So, like I said, it's just like solving a regular equation, only this time we have that small issue with multiplying and dividing by negatives, and we have to do the graph. All right, so let's take a look at another one. We only did 2 in class, and I wanted to take a look at a fraction one because I know on our quiz that was a particularly difficult one, so I wanted to make sure we got this in our notes just in case. All right, so we have negative 8 is less than or equal to x plus 11 over negative 2. All right, so when you see a fraction, I kind of want you to immediately think that you'll have to multiply to get rid of it. Because remember, that fraction bar, this fraction bar, is the same thing as a division symbol. You're saying x plus 11 is being divided by negative 2. So if it's being divided, to get rid of it, you want to do the opposite. That's going to be multiplication. So you are going to multiply by whatever your denominator is. For us, that's negative 2. But remember, whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. So let me draw my line here so we could show the two different sides. We're going to end up canceling these two out immediately. You don't need to multiply your x or 11 by 2. That's not necessary. You're just going to make more work for yourself. So don't do that. Don't need to. Okay. So on the right side, or the left side, my bad. The left side, we have negative 2 times negative 8. Okay, a negative times a negative is going to give me a positive. So that's going to be a positive 16. And watch out. We just multiplied by a negative number. Remember, when you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip your inequality. So, let's do that. We had a less than or equal to. Now we have a greater than or equal to because we multiplied by a negative. That's why we do that. All right. So now on the other side, we just have x plus 11. We got rid of that fraction bar and the number underneath it. So now we're good to go. All right, so now we still want x alone. I see that 11 plus 11 is in my way over here. So I'm going to subtract it from both sides, and that'll get out of here. Okay, so that's going to leave me with 16 minus 11. Well, that's 5. Still have that same sign, and our x is all that's left over here. Okay, so one thing I want you to look out for, you're not going to see very many problems like this, but I just wanted to point it out. Usually we have the x going first. The proper way is to have x is, your inequality sign, and then your number. So what I'm going to do here is just rearrange this. I'm going to write it in reverse so that when we go to graph this, it looks better. So I'm going to say x is less than or equal to 5. Now, these two statements are exactly the same. These both say the same thing. The only difference is now I've written it in reverse, so it's a little bit easier to read for when we do our number line. Okay, so that was our answer. Let's get our number line down here. All right, I'm still going to start at 5. One side is going to be smaller numbers, so 4. One side has to show the bigger numbers, that'll be 6. We want to start with a circle. I'm looking at this thing, and I see that we have less than or equal to. Now, because we have that equal to line right here, I am going to fill in my circle. As best I can. There we go. I'm going to fill in my circle. Okay, now our sign is also telling us that it's going to be less than. Less than is going to go in the smaller direction. So I am going to fill in the smaller side of the graph. Smaller in numbering, that is. 4 is smaller than 5. Okay. All right, so our graph now says x is less than or equal to 5. So we're good. That is going to be it for us today. Just those two examples. But hopefully that helped us out. Remember, let me know if you are still unsure about this. We have a assignment that I posted on Teams, so if you're unsure, practice with that and watch that video, because I go step by step through all of those problems in case you need it. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good day. I will see you later. Bye.